Hello again. We're back, and the lobby is being set up. Oh, friends of the live. Haha.
Oh, I first actually go tweet about this, which was what I was planning to do during the break.
Wait a second.
Then got a bit distracted.
I didn't change regions. Shouldn't we be in Korea?
Oh, ask them. I'm on Korea right now. That's what I was waiting.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that would make the most sense. Well, hopefully that gets fixed. So it is going to be aLive versus Zest. I think actually. Oh no, Zest is online too. No, I don't know. Should maybe like a minute more in the break, if that. It's already been 4. At least.
Oh, they not responded? Like, should I come back to North America?
They haven't responded yet.
I mean, it's Korean versus Korean. It actually
stay
makes
on
no
there.
sense to make them play on NA.
Yeah, just stay on there. Okay, he said sure. Well, while we wait for the lobby to be set up, I'm going to tell you the second story that I didn't get to tell, now that we have downtime. And that's the story of the crazy lady down the train.
Crazy lady down the train. Hootenanny!
So there's like... Well, like, there's like the, the nice way to say this, but like... as far as like... I've read the subway in a lot of places, like Toronto, New York, DC, France, and Seoul. And like Seoul is like by far the cleanest and the easiest and really nice. And there's hardly ever people that are just like screaming. In fact, it's actually really rude to be talking above a certain like noise level. Like the foreigners are always like talking so loud and being white people.
What's the equivalent of like mansplaining, but like with culture? Like, are you Korea boo-splaining to me right now? Is that what's happening?
I don't know if there is an equivalent, but sure, yeah, why not? Anyways, so the chances of finding someone who's disruptive on the train is very low, basically.
Yeah.
So this happened once to me last year, where there's actually just guys like there was a drunk old guy yelling, and we didn't know what it was about, and some other drunk old guy started yelling back at him, and just like a whole thing. And only after did I learn that the first guy was like just being straight up racist, like saying like we should get out of the country and we're diluting the gene pool and like shit like that. And the other guy was like defending foreigners. So that was fun. I don't know if this is what the woman was doing or not. All I know is I get on the train and the guy, like, we do hold on to like the handrail thing, and the guy in front of me does, and he's in front of this woman who's like I don't know, like 30s maybe. She's wearing a mask because she's sick.
Oh, she's not even like that old. When you say old, I'm thinking like nanny or granny, like in a bun. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's my bad. You're right. Yeah, I mean like 30s or 40s, right? Like I'm just like, I want to say she's actually probably 50. She's Korean, but like who knows, right? But you're right. I shouldn't have said old. That's like another part of the story that made it so shocking too for me, because I think it's like an older person. I kind of expected them to just like not give a fuck. But no, she was like not super old. But she was wearing like a mask, and she looked like she was a little bit sick and all that. But she was like muttering and kind of like talking. I thought she was talking to someone, and she looked at the guy who's in front of her, holding the handrail, and she's like yo. And she's like doing like the whole like it's like fucking like it's a Korean drama, man. She's like yo. And the guy just like, he's like, what? And she starts like yelling at him in Korean. So the guy just like kind of smiles and like moves to another, part of the train. So it's just like there's this like space around the woman, like her bubble of like no one wanting to get near her. And I'm the one there, and she like looks at me, and she changes her tone. So I can't tell if she was being nice or she was actually being racist. Because I think what she said to me was, you should study Korean. Because I know those words in Korean. And she said, like, saying that to me, she said, like, 5 times, like, the same sentence over and over, and I was like, okay. And then she's like, that was, like, a satisfactory answer. She was like, okay, good. And then I'm like, well, that was weird. But then she starts, like, muttering again and, like, doing, like sighing and be like, and, like, just, like, it's just like, shout at people on the subway. And I look around, and everyone's staring at her. And then an older guy comes and sits down next. Like, this guy's actually like 50, 60, comes down and sits next to her because he doesn't give a fuck. And she starts like talking to him about something, and he just like doesn't want to respond. And then eventually he looks at me and he like waves and like I grab my attention, and I'm like, I look at him, and he kind of points to her and then points to me, and I'm like, I don't know her. Like, why the fuck would I know her? Some like the crazy foreigner. And then he said like no, and then he like kind of like pointed to his ear. So I think he was just like asking if I understood her. So that's what led me to believe that she was saying mean things about white people. But then she was nice to me when she talked directly to me. But then she continued being crazy for the next like 10 minutes, and she got off the same stop that I did, and I was legitimately afraid that she would follow me. I've never been afraid in Korea, but that made me a little afraid. I thought there might be like a knife somewhere in that shopping bag of hers, you know?
That would definitely make me feel uncomfortable, to say the least. I don't think you're too crazy for feeling like that.
I just, man.
I would love. Okay, I know this would never happen, right? And I hope to God it never happens. But I love this horrible scenario in my head where like you've gone through this, and she gets off the train, she follows you, she actually does stab you, and you're sitting in the street bleeding out, and she leans over you, and in perfect English, she's like, "Knife to meet you," and then just walks away.
What the fuck, man?
Because like she's crazy, right? Like it's actually not insane to think like she would actually know perfect English, but she's too crazy. I don't know. We got some bits, of course. Thank you guys so much. I guess I'm on shout-out duty today because I can't do much else. Ekdar hit us up for a 10-month resub during that story saying, keep up the hashtag SC2Passion. Marie hit us up for 34 months saying, coming up on 3 years, man. 3 years! Damn. That's crazy. Marie, thank you for being around for almost 3 years, dude.
Nice.
Side note, I don't know how much you guys have enjoyed... some of you, I know some of you specifically, because you spam my ketchup emote in Nate's chat, right? Some of you have been joining myself and Nathaniel's for our PUBG off-time things. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We actually reached out to the game creators recently to see if we could get some access to their custom lobbies, so we could try and host some stuff, whether it's tournaments or just fun stuff with the viewers. So while there is hashtag SC2Passion for realsies, there's also some like PUBG passion growing pretty good too.
That's cool. Looks like a fun game. I'd watch it. I mean, I do watch it. I watch it on Twitch.
Just say there's a lot of people who watch it. But okay, we're getting into a brand new best of 3. It took a little bit of time to get going because they wanted that break, but players were ready to go, so we're hopping into it as quick as we can. Lickety split, and to kick things off, we'll see how he's doing here today because we're about to see him in 2 weeks over in Toronto. In the top left, we have none other than the pink Protoss Zest.
Pink is pretty. In the bottom right, has the red Terran. It is aLive.
Okay, so aLive, pretty good player. He's gotten on everybody's radar this year. There's no question about it. Zest has kind of done the opposite, though. Like, was a god, untouchable, the best there really was, and then has just kind of fallen from grace over the last few months. I know he's got good games in him. We see him bring them out from time to time. But generally speaking, Zest is not the guy he once was.
No. He's really, like... We kind of mentioned, like, the Team Liquid thread for our tournament, but, like, a demigod from that god status, yeah. Like 50% of what he was. I mean, his height, like the career height, especially like versus Terran, was like so unbelievably good. And then it was like, it was just crushing everyone. No one compared. Stats was like a little babby in comparison kind of deal. Like he was the one looking up the Zest. Now it's complete opposite. And Zest, you know, just you see his name and you're like, yeah, he's cool. I like Zest. He'll probably do okay. But he's not going to do great. And in fact, he's had, like, it's more than just, like, you know, his, like, star stance is off, or, like, you know, he reads the games a little incorrectly, or overall he looks a little bit worse. There are legitimately games and moments that, you know, for, like, 30 seconds to a minute, which is, like, a long time in StarCraft, where you'll just be like, what, is he, like, AFKing? Like, I don't, like, he's microing, but he's not macroing, or vice versa, you know, and just is not the hallmark that is... well, the best Korean, you know, players that you get to see. So it kind of sucks, I guess, TLDR. But he's still a good player, and he still would be, like, an okay match for aLive, but considering that aLive has been on an upswing lately, well, I imagine that aLive will do quite well against Zest. I actually like this response to my train story. She's actually just hitting on you. I was like,
that was some aggressive Korean flirting from like an old ass lesbian.
when I was like, okay, she was like, okay, it's a date. Oh no, what did I do? She knows where I live. Oh god, that's actually kind of scary. Anyway. Anyways, Reaper gets denied pretty easily. Did it see that Stargate? I mean, it's Ascension to Ire, not Odyssey. Odyssey has the little back Reaper hop-up spot, not so much Ascension to Ire. Did not see the Stargates. Still, obviously, a very common opener, like 50-50. Oracle opener or something like Twilight Council opener. Maybe Robo thrown in every now and then. So it would be a good guess, but he's just sending his Marines forward here with a Cyclone. 2 more Cyclones on the way. I mean, he won't have much defense at home if he sends these forward here. He won't have those Widow Mines. Yeah, he didn't make any Widow Mines to help defend against the Oracle, and this could be great, this could be terrible. No one doesn't see the Oracle, doesn't see the Cyclone. Oh, it's a really quick third base, too. Like, that's a third base before there's even extra gateways third base. That's gonna be harsh. Oh my god, the pylon isn't even done. Well, okay, yeah, this is worse for Zest. This is so much worse for Zest. He didn't even mothership
the probe's
for it.
getting
Jesus.
pulled. The fact that the probes get pulled this early, you know shit's about to get real. He chooses to ignore the probes, though, and focus on the Adepts, which might be a mistake, because probes surround actually deal with the Cyclone not too badly, and we just saw that happen.
Yeah, like he let the surround go down, too, which is a little bit weird, but 2 more Cyclones are on the way. He didn't quite get the pylon, which sucks, because, like, that would not be here. This post-fin overcharge would have been useless, and this would have been a lot more damage. Even so, I think he's, just finishing up his warp gate. Still 2 gateways, only just now finishing up. The Mothership Core thinks he's going to attack the third base. So okay, well, there goes the pylon. It wouldn't have lasted long anyways, mind you, but it didn't even get a chance to be overcharged. Takes care of 1 Cyclone. The other one's going to go down pretty soon here, too. And, well, Zest, that was a bit of a panic moment right there for everyone. It looks like Zest will take care of this. And was that really worth it for aLive? Sneaky. The probe pool caused aLive to have quite the income advantage for half a minute. And, of course, his production is still on the way. 3rd CC is already done. But Zest, I mean, he had to stop probe production for a little bit there and panic, and he lost a couple. Yeah, literally a couple, 2. But that really wasn't that bad.
Well, we're at this point now where Phoenix have entered the fray, and this is where all sorts of things get balance whiny for Terran, but perhaps troublesome for aLive. One thing I'm worried about going forward in this is aLive is not a player who actually sits still, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if he's antsy or how you want to describe it, but he likes to be aggressive. He likes to be out on the map. And I don't think he's the type of player who's comfortable, much less loves sitting at home to avoid the Phoenix threat.
It's going to be tricky, actually. Like, this is... It's not just a question of, are they going Phoenix Adepts? Which is definitely a question you always have to ask, even if it's becoming, like, a little less popular than it was months ago. But in this game specifically, it's actually going to be a change up into Charge. We saw Hero do when we got to cast him in the Elima League and the BTSL, I think, like, both times. He's been changing up to Charge, and this could be a big shock. It's surprised, like, the Adept in the... what am I... The Adept in the Charge lot, like, they do fill, like, different roles, you know? Like, and one over the other might seem, like, inconsequential because it's really more about, like, the storms, or it's more about the Colossus, or, like, whatever, right? But, no, the Charge can be a big surprise, especially so quickly, too. You know, this isn't a step from Blink to Charge or Resident Glaive to Charge. It is just into Charge with armor upgrades, so, like, pretty old-school style, into what is probably going to be Storm. So hopefully aLive is going to be consistent with his Widowmine production. That's a big old wall of aLive.
Well, will be.
Yeah, soon. There we go. +1 is going to finish up for Zest, but, you know, aLive, he already finished his +1. He's already on his way to 2-1. Upgrades won't be nearly as bad as, I mean, you think about, like, Heart of the Swarm and some of those metas, it was, like, double Forge every time, and these, like, super beefed up units. It kind of sucked. But this is not nearly as bad. Second Starport is on the way, though, which might, you know, I mean, it's kind of an automatic thing, but might actually be what he wants. In this case, it might have been more necessary for a Ghost Academy, but, you know, despite getting that Templar Archives, not getting Storm. Instead, adds on Blink and +1.
Well, the cannon is a small detail, but I just want to point out that I do like seeing this down. In the mineral lines might seem like a waste of money, but preventing Widow Mines drops and no AFK Liberator moves, I don't know. I like it. I think aLive's the type of player to certainly hit him with the Widow Mines too, given the opportunity.
Well, it's not like Liberator's ever bad. So, I mean, he is investing into them. 2 starports, Fusion Core on the way. It is funny, though, because the charge lots would ideally run past them and still do a lot of damage. And what I thought was going to be Storm could still happen, especially with, like, some War Prism tactics or just getting good like, opportunities.
Well,
but it's not the case. There's still no Storm.
I do want to point out, though, that while we did mention Liberators here in terms of harassment, there is actual dedication to Liberators, as well as Ghosts, Zealous tearing through this wall, by the way. But Liberator range is on the way. Combined with a couple EMPs, I think actually aLive is going to have the better army as in terms of like fighting ground. But it is that question of like, what's the bigger threat here? Those Phoenix or the Colossus?
Definitely Colossus. There's going to be 4 Colossus.
So I want to like agree with you in terms of like objectively this unit should be better and scarier. But generally speaking, we see Colossus versus Terran. You're like lol Marauders, lol Widow Mines, lol Liberators.
Well, it's only for Phoenixes. I can't imagine there'll be that much damage.
Yeah, that's true. I just Colossus for me are just so not the powerful units that they once were, right?
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
I guess there are 2 starports too, so even if he gets on this late, Viking production I don't think should be a problem. But War Prism heading to the main is going to find a missile turret waiting for it. Big Warband to follow it up.
This is always very annoying to deal with. And aLive wasn't really out of position. He had a unit, like a task force, like patrolling the map, but really his reinforcements were over here. They were in the middle of the map. Now we're spawning back to this, and SCVs might go down. Fusion Core even goes down, but he already got the upgrade that he wanted from it. I was like double checking in my head if he needed that for +2 air weapons. No. Yeah, so it should be good. Actually, it gets the War Prism as well, which is always a nice relief for Terran players. They don't have to be distracted when really push comes to shove, because they both are getting to the Death Ball huge late-game armies. I mean, the paths that they got there, I think, made a little bit more sense for aLive. I mean, you know, Bio into Double Starport into Ghost Academy, I think is probably the most basic thing you can do as Terran. For Zest, I'm like a little more confused, but it doesn't matter.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter so much. Like, he got the Templar Archive so quickly, but he only just now finished up Storm. Like, that seems a little odd. But it doesn't matter nearly as much, because the point is they're both getting here no matter what the travel was like, the destination is the same.
You know what they say, the real treasure is the journey or some shit like that. But the Ghosts, I think, are going to have a really big impact on their own, especially considering they'll be the counter to Storms. But the fact that this is it's not just that it's Liberators with range, right? There's 8 of them. It's the fact that the anti-air is very limited because of the investment in Charge and Storm and Colossus especially. There's not that much that kill these Liberators. In fact, what's the stalker count out? 16, and he's warping in new ones because he knows he needs them.
Yeah. I was wondering why aLive had so many units just like running around everywhere. Maybe some F2, maybe just reinforcements. His Ghost, though, completely on the wrong side of the battle. Just his other
like,
army gets blanketed. Yeah, exactly. Might still be okay, though.
Yeah, well, the Colossus here, funny enough, weren't the threat. It was the gateway units. It was the Storms. It was the now Archons. It was the Stalkers. The Colossus caught some of the army off guard, and that was cool, but really, they didn't play that big of an impact. And aLive has lost so much through this attack.
Yeah. I was question marking, because there really was mostly Stalkers left over with only that single Colossus, but they were pretty injured, and there weren't as many as there were Stalkers still alive, but that should have gone badly for aLive. I mean, his army position was all over the place, so this makes a lot of sense. Does he have any time to recover? I don't know. Like, you can recover maybe like a 30, 40 army supply. You know, Liberators come over, you have Planetary, and the Protoss is going to be hesitant to push into this, but 70 overall supply? That's, I don't know, that's a little more questionable. I guess it is still basically 50, 40 army supply, but it's, I don't know. He also doesn't have many medevacs. Yeah, most of his medevacs died. They're caught in the corner of the map. He just has Liberators. I do like Zest including the Immortals. Disruptors also sometimes do the, you know, same deal, but... Oh, this is nice. EMP on a lot of that army. Hello.
Hey, so the call dropped. Okay, we're calling you, but yeah, I guess you just picked up. That was ringing for a while. Also, people are noting that in-game audio is kind of low. I know you like to have it low, but maybe we turn up a bit. Because I'm listening to stream right now, and it is like stupidly quiet.
I know it's a never mind. Just the way you phrase it is like. Yes,
I mean, it's
can
not
tell
wrong.
that.
You choose to have it low so you can hear better.
No,
right?
no. It's just like I've already bumped it up, trying to accommodate for it. It's just a matter of like, yeah. So I want to say like, no, it's not high enough yet.
All right, well, army supply is not so out of hand that aLive is SOL, but man, it is favoring Zest. Run by in the top, not going to get the Nexus, chase off pretty quickly as well.
I mean, he managed to not die, which is pretty impressive. The circumstances were pretty grim, and he is reaching to a reasonable army supply. That now, if Zest like had really bad army positioning, then maybe there's an opportunity. But still, with about 30 army supply lead, he's actually going to go for the break here. This isn't all of aLive's army, so it's probably pretty good. But there's a planetary.
I was going to say, the assistance of the planetary, those two liberators, which are actually covered by the planetary, that was a really good defensive spot for aLive to take an engagement.
Phoenix catches two liberators trying to do some harassment. This is nice. I mean, aLive should be trying to do whatever it can with any small group of units. Liberator even going up to the north as well, just to buy that time. I mean, Zest, he got to that 5th base. He's getting more upgrades. It's 2-3, 3-2-1. Like, I mean, they're both upgrading pretty consistently here. But if aLive could actually level out on a maxed out or close to maxed out army again, that gives him a chance in this game. Whereas right now, any engagement should go pretty poorly.
I thought you're kind of doing that, like, 2 to the 3 to the 3 to the 1. Like,
yeah, I mean, who cares about which upgrades which?
No, I mean, okay, no mind. Liberators are not going to be set up for this, which really sucks. New ones come in, set up a little bit late. Still so many stalkers, though. But as long as he's fighting around this planetary, those stalkers cannot so casually blink.
Yeah, and aLive finally compensated for the lack of medevacs. So, I mean, they're pretty dry already, but at least he made 4 of them, and making 4 more. I only just recently noticed like how late he was to the +2 ship weapons. But it's fine.
Yeah. It's the difference of being able to 2-shot versus 3-shot the stalkers that do have their own armor upgrades.
Some nice feedbacks go down, but the EMP is still plentiful enough to get most of the Protoss army. This is starting to turn around here for aLive. Not completely, but it's some nice trades.
Yeah, the army fights are going well for him. He's getting these Templar that have been left kind of AFK, and that's a nice move there too. Zest kind of sitting here putting emphasis now on trying to get like the Tempests out to deal with the Liberators, which I don't think is actually going to be the best course of action unless it's a longer game. But aLive, he's got the ability to move his command centers. Oh no, Zest. Oh no, what are you doing? You're getting AI'd on hard here with pathfinding. I was going to note though that like the command center dying would have been devastating. Keeps it alive, it's burning, he is repairing it, so don't sweat it, guys. But still needs to take additional bases, so maybe lifting off that natural base, moving it over. Excuse me, it's the main base, in fact, that is going to be moving over. And he needs to secure some income, because look at that mineral count for aLive. It's not even going above 100, because he's spending all of his money repairing.
Yeah. This is all types of awkward and weird, and I actually don't know who's going to go better for.
The Colossus on the top is kind of out of position, right? Like the units are getting split. The Liberators are taking complete advantage of this choke, but the backside ends up being won by Zest, and he pushes him from behind, and these Liberators are not covered, so the Stalkers will take him out.
But they ended up killing enough on their own front line that these Marauders could take out the rest of the Stalkers. Yes, and reinforcements coming from behind too. Like that was all types of weird, but the stronger sides ended up being like, in favor of aLive. You know, those Liberators ended up actually doing enough damage for long enough.
That has to be the coolest fight I've seen in a long time too. Both players reinforcing from the backside, both players losing a lot, gaining a lot. Like this ends up going okay for aLive, and his army supply is starting to get ahead. But things like these storms start chunking off a lot of units. A couple of Archon shots could take out a lot of units, and of course these Tempests. can remove a lot of units.
Yeah.
There's actually not enough Marines left to kill the Tempests.
Very frustrating when this happens. If there's one thing that should be easy to remake and be plentiful if you need it, it's Marines. But as you start making more Marines, they're finally getting their Colossus and charge lot count back up, so it's going to be difficult to actually get underneath those Tempests. And while this was a momentum shift, and he does get the Nexus, that's nice. That's the brand new one. This one's starting to mine out a little bit. Looks like Zest did take back control of the supply. He's still up in probes, and he is still a little bit up in the army.
You know, the +2 weapons finishing for the ships going to be huge moving forward. The Liberators have been a really big part of this game, but my concern is he lost so much, and his income's only just coming back now through mules. So he doesn't have the money to be pumping out like 4 Liberators at a time like he was earlier. He doesn't have the money to be... I guess the Ghosts... 4 Ghosts are not bad, and they're necessary for those storms. But that is like... That's like half of his income right there, just making 4 Ghosts.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive. It's very important army here for Zest. There's a lot of expensive units with just barely enough fodder to be okay. Very, very scary. Especially if those EMPs would hit. There they are. They is. Okay, he grabs the tail end. I think there's one more storm left, but he's still got almost all of the army, which is almost the most important thing. That was the last storm available. It just needs to heal up and maybe he could go in. Actually, no, not with this injured army. Not with this injured army. Mistakes were made.
No.
Mistakes were made.
GG. Zest.
GG. Yeah, the sound was because the Korean server has different sound. Who'da thunk it? It's all the way down to 11%.
Nice.
Eh.
By the way, big thank yous to Ektar for that 10-month reset. We got him a little bit earlier, but just starting there again with Daxter33 following for 12 months. That's 1 year. That's a part 2 qualification. Love SE2 hit us up with 35 months on the resub. Thank you very much. PugTube. And then just now, Patent TV for 13 months. It says hi with a smiley face. I like that we have this cult of highs. We have like so many people who won't actually write messages, but they will write hi. Like Riamar. Riamar will drop like $100 on the stream casually, and his message will just be like, "Hey,
Hello.
hi."
Bonjour.
Not even like, "How you doing?"
Yeah. Everyone loves the word hi. The
Stoners.
What?
They love the word hi.
Oh, stoners. Oh.
What did you think I said?
Special
Loners?
donors. And I was like,
Oh.
yeah, I guess he's a special donor. Made sense in my mind.
Special donors like to go high. It's like, yeah, thanks for supporting the stream.
Yeah.
Tens of dollars a month.
I got a question for chat here. Okay, this is going to be StarCraft 2 related, right? If you actually play this game. Shocking,
Danger
I know.
zone. This
I know.
is terrible territory. You're
I don't know what...
risking a lot.
Am I just crazy? Does like everyone know what settings transfer from account to account, region to region? Or am I also just constantly confused? Like the whole sound thing is like something I should have caught, but that just reminds me that every single time I try and play this game on a different account, the scroll settings are the same. A different account. Why?
I can't speak on the transferring because I know that, yeah, some things, like for some reason, when we start new accounts, my mouse bindings will be different, blah, blah, blah. But the sound thing I find particularly interesting because obviously this is like a, like I'm going to say with as hard of an air quote as I can, right? Like a hot topic issue because you typically have yours much lower than mine, right? But what I find interesting is not catching it means did you just not notice that the sound was lower or like I don't understand.
No, I didn't notice until someone mentioned it, and then I was like, that's weird. Maybe I'm zoomed out, and that's why.
I'm further away from this. It makes sense. Like, I'm not even going to fault you for that.
It does. There's, like, because I increased the sound, like, shortly before an attack happened, like, back when we were in the NA server. So, of course, like, the Marauder sounds and stuff were really loud, but I was also zoomed in. So, it's like, it's interesting. But, yeah, that's, yeah, that happens.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bit more of an audiophile than you, but it's just for me, whether it's mic sound or game sounds, I'm always like the little bit off, and I'm like, yep, that's annoying. Like I just can't.
Well,
nope.
for me, that is normal, right? So that would be the difference. Is like
Yeah.
super low game sounds, because I also keep it low when I play. Like I literally just never have game sounds on. So
Oh, I don't know how you can do that, man.
that's why I'm so good at this game. I trained my mind. You don't even know. Okay, I'm done.
You're like, was that Rock Lee or whatever, right? Like you had the weights on by having the sound low, so you turn the
Exactly.
sound up. It's like taking the weights off. You're moving like a Super Saiyan. You're suddenly like a Korean gamer.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's odd though, because if I did watch a stream that had very low game sounds, I would immediately notice. So whatever. I think it's because I'm doing so much more when I'm casting, just not casually watching. Especially on like one monitor. I'm having the one monitor troubles real hard sometimes. But I'll continue working. Please cheer for me. Show good
Shut
games.
the fuck. All right. I think you need to introduce the Terran player first. I got a great idea for intros here.
Okay. In the bottom rights, losing that last game, it is the Red Terran aLive.
And spawning the polar opposite of his opponent, probably packing a pretty punishing punch, paired with a pizzazz and panic, powerful enough to pacify participating pandas, painting a portrait presenting a pronounced pain in his opponent, is the pink Protoss protagonist, Zest.
That was pretty cool. You didn't get the word propagator in there though.
Oh, she got. Oh, who's that other prognosticator too, right? The guy who donates to the channel.
There you go.
No, have you? I know you don't watch it, but have you heard of Letterkenny?
No.
Okay, well they did this great thing with the season promos, and they just came out with a season 3 promo last night. It's got me all riled up and inspired. But they'll do like the alphabet, and they'll just say sentences where it's like all alliteration and the same letter. I don't know. I love it. It's good.
I was I guess just like talking about like random TV shows. I was reminded of Rick and Morty. We were out like drinking after the ASL finals, and I was drinking a Krokenberg, like 1776 or whatever.
Cronenberg.
Yeah. So like I didn't think of anything of it. Like it's all like cane and everything, right? Like completely different than the actual show, but I didn't think of anything of it. And like Rapid was like, "Oh, the things from Futurama," and he like tried to explain the story to me, and I was just like, I don't remember this at all, man. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
Never happened in Futurama.
Yeah. Well, like.
So do you think like Brian Bender, they went to an alternate reality after they killed everybody? Like, what the fuck?
Did I say Futurama? I haven't Rick and Morty.
No.
That's my bad. But no, I was just like, I was confused because like I literally didn't remember like what we're talking about. And is like immediately like Googled image the Krokenbergs or whatever, and I was like, oh, I know what that
The
is.
Cronenbergs.
Cronenbergs. My bad.
Krokenberg sounds like a French dish.
It's a French beer. Excuse you. That's exactly why I was confused. Yeah, that's what it's like. The Krokenberg year drink. Tastes like berries. That was good, but anyways.
Wall.
Rick and Morty's so fucking weird. Anyways.
Rick and Morty is good.
I mean, it is. Well, I agree, but I mean, that was like one of the weirdest episodes because they just, I mean, it was, what, sometimes I think about like TV shows, right, where I'm like, man, but what if you saw it from like the villain's point of view or something like really lame like that, right? And it's like, well, what if you saw it from the other alternative universe's point of view? And like, they made that happen. It's just like.
Did you ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
No.
There's an ongoing joke where Barney Stinson, one of the main characters, he watched Karate Kid the wrong way and thought that the bad guy was the good guy, and that the main character was like a big bully.
How do you watch it wrong?
Just the joke of the show, right?
Oh, okay. Well, what am mine against Stargate Opener? Always risky, but it was really a distraction for this, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the Marines might get the pylon here, but there's not a lot of staying power, unfortunately, especially that Phoenix in play.
Yeah, Phoenix is too, so.
Phoenix in.
Phoenix Eye. Nailed it.
I don't have another one.
Yeah,
I don't have.
That's gonna fit, isn't it? Okay, well the adepts go down at the very least, so like, and like, it really sucks you lost the medevac. But if you're gonna send it out across the map against a Stargate Opener, it's like pretty much for sure gonna die. There's always a chance they don't actually follow up with Phoenixes, but Zest did last game, so it's not too surprising to see him do it this game too. But they're just aLive. Maybe those Widow Mines last a little bit longer, maybe kills the pylon a little bit sooner and gets the focus fire on a little bit faster. It's all different, but it's not. So Widow Mines cleaned up again. I guess it ran in there without them noticing, but no probes killed. And this follow-up Widow Mine drop probably won't be doing too much more.
No, we go A probe. You know, with Widowmine's fire, sometimes I hear that, like, you know, the like, that's the sound I swear to God Widowmines make, and it's what triggers all the players who have to play against them.
Yes. I mean, that's what I thought it was when I first heard it. When you first started making the sounds, I was like, what is he copying Widowmine for? Like, I guess it's, like, pretty brutal when it starts, like, to, you know, wind up and attacks you. Maybe that made sense to me.
Why is Drifkin referencing this racist frog as well? I don't understand. Life is confusing.
That confuses me so much more than anything ever will. What
you hear that they killed him, by the way?
Well, that's rude.
The creator where they got the actual Pepe thing from, like that kid's book or whatever, they actually killed him off because of the memes. Like, in the books.
Oh. Well, that's not right. Oh well.
Poor Pepe.
He'll live forever in our hearts. This has been a really bad opener, I think, for aLive. I mean, the one medevac dying with the 8 Marines, like, it wasn't the best, but, you know, whatever, cut your losses. But then he committed 6 more Widow Mines and 2 more medevacs.
Actually, well, this goes right back to what I said in the first game that I was concerned about aLive. He's a player who likes to drop. He's a player who likes to move out. And these are not things you should be doing typically versus Phoenix Adept, much less Adept in general. Or, excuse me, Phoenix in general.
Just boom rallying SCVs to their death.
Yeah, that sucked. But this big parade push in the middle of the map, this is actually going to be met with not the Phoenix as the problem, but with charge lots. And charge is almost done. There's a lot of zealots in play. Those force fields will buy more than enough time. Like, there's absolutely going to be +1 armor in charge for this fight if it's done correctly.
Should not go up that ramp for the love of God.
No, he shouldn't even be out of his base because he can no longer retreat, right? The second Zest decides to chase with charge, you can't pick up on the medevacs, you don't have enough buyout to survive the fight. Guardian Shield is going to make sure that these Marines do almost no damage to these zealots.
Another medevac. It's like what the fuck? Oh, there it is. It just doesn't feel worth the medevacs.
No, he pre-Guardian Shields too. I love that because he didn't know whether the fight was coming. aLive starts to back away here a little bit. I don't like him moving out like this. We've seen enough Terran players who are just as good, if not better than aLive, die to silly moves that are totally unnecessary. And I feel like, yeah, having moved out before he had the ample amount of supply to take anything on was a big risk, not worth taking.
It certainly was a big risk. He's changing up the game a little bit than last. I mean, last game. I can't want to say yesterday. Jesus. It was, you know, we talked on like the destination, but the same destination, different journey type thing for the two of them. And that, you know, didn't matter if it was Ghost Academy or a second starport first, because they you know, you wanted to get to both of them anyways. With this game, going to the Ghost Academy a lot faster, but attacking without them ready to go, was depending on those Widow Mines. They get some okay shots. The Force Fields help the Zealots out otherwise. That Archon's about to go down. Actually, no, okay, the charge at Warpin should be enough. These Widow Mines aren't off cooldown quite yet. Liberator shouldn't be lasting too much longer. In fact, instantly sniped from the air. And there's a Zealot attack killing a lot of SCVs at the third base. 1-1 just finished for aLive, but he might have just lost too much here. Does Zest have a Warp Prism? He does not. That might be aLive's saving grace. That and Widow Mines.
This is truly tumultuous and terrible for our Terran.
Do you have a word of a day calendar next to you?
No, I'm just trying to think of more alliteration, but it's hard to think of T-words, actually.
Trepulation.
Trepidation. Tumors. Thunder.
Trapezoid.
He's in a real trapezoid.
Trapezoid of a pickle now.
Streets ahead, zombie grub. Streets ahead.
Stupid. Oh god. Okay, well, aLive might have had a panic attack. Being pushed back like that. He is back with a vengeance. Unfortunately, Zest has already transferred over into Colossus. Remember, he didn't go for Storm immediately despite such an early Templar Archives last game. In this game, I think he felt pressure to make Archons too because he was being attacked, but it wasn't about Storm, it was about Colossus. And now they're out, and they don't necessarily have a counter. He needs a better concave around him, but he's getting rid of a lot of the charge lots that might just prevent itself.
Right, that fight went pretty terribly for aLive right until the Widow Mines removed the front layer from the equation. Now he stims in and tries to focus the Colossus. He just barely won't get it. I mean, this fight for Zest is so much easier if he has extended Thermal Lance, obviously, but that's not done yet. That's a big part of the timing here for aLive.
Yeah, that's true. Well, aLive took a couple of blows to his economy, so it's been definitely dipping a lot of the time, but not as bad as I thought it would be. You know, the Oracle and then the charge lots, and just never really a fully saturated third base, but it's been all right. Zest on 6-6 probes and 4 bases now should really start dominating. He's got his upgrades on the way, which is something that aLive has given up on. It looks like, well, not giving up entirely, but he did push off for a very long time to try and get the ghosts out. I'm gonna get a Robo here and maybe get that upgrade too. At least keep them even on the upgrades. Nicely done. Maybe get out of there, get the Robo, get out of there. Okay, so 1 Robo lives and the Robotics Bay, so at least it's some Colossus production. Maybe he should go into Storm now that his splash has been cut a little bit. I'm not going for it yet. Just getting a second Robo in the Forge again. Liberty gets a couple probes. This is a very dangerous double drop to do. What the hell, man?
It's not just because this alone has like a weakened medevac state, but this is a large portion of his army that's missing. Like, he's not actually fighting on even footing to the south. He's down like 20 supply because of these medevacs. And that one Phoenix. This one Phoenix can get the sickest double kill. Takes out one of the medevacs immediately. Chases the other one, boosting to get to the main, but he's going to be intercepted by Stalkers. No chance to survive. Not a single unit out of either of those medevacs. That's devastating for aLive.
That's pretty bad.
Losing Widow Mines too, just a easy peasy cleanup. This doesn't look good for our Terran. He's not on a 4th base either. Zest is. I don't think the option of lifting command center is really there, because the problem isn't that he doesn't have a base, it's that he can't secure a base.
Liberator finally gonna get cleaned up here. At least he started his upgrades again, and by killing that one Forge, he has at least caught himself up a little bit, but still falling behind a +2. Storm is about to finish up here. Did aLive save any of his ghosts? No. He just made those few and they died. Oh no. It's gonna be tricky. I mean, he's in a worse position than last game. In last game, he was at least like, you know, he was constantly down in supplies, especially after that really bad attack. But he had like 4 bases, kind of, and he had an army that had all the right tools. But now in this game, not just missing upgrades. There's not really a lot of liberators, and there's no more ghosts. So he's really gonna have to pull out some like different tactics other than just straight up fights, and that does usually include doom dropping against High Templars. Is always dangerous, and oh no, oh boy. Feedbacks. Should have been more feedbacks. That actually wasn't so bad. At least it unloads, but is it really gonna be worth it?
I really would have loved to have seen something like warped in Templar just specifically for feedbacks too, but otherwise getting some pretty good hits. Not enough to kill all the Stalkers, of course. Attack to the south while this goes on. aLive is doing a lot of look left, hit right, but oh my god, those storms take out almost the entire army. Cleaning up these Marauders will not be a problem.
Yeah, that wasn't so difficult. Well, during that, aLive does get a 4th base, but he just like plummets in that army supply. Decides not to try and re-engage with the drops because it's way too dangerous. Upgrades have now, well, I guess they finished up for aLive at 2-2. At Zest now adding in those shields. Holding off on +3 weapons, I guess. What the What are you doing here? Okay, well, Colossus go way ahead of the pack, but apparently they live anyways.
Let me just expose ourselves really quick.
Yeah. Finally some ghosts, but they're using their EMPs and their lives on Stalkers, which is not the ideal.
I threw bodies at the kill bots until they reached their kill limit.
Ghosts are pretty expensive bodies. GG. Damn, I did not think Zest was going to be the one to 2-0.
No, I am actually in total agreement with you. I thought this would be a very aLive favored series. Wow. One that would be like uncontestedly in his favor too.
I would say it's good to know for the Toronto Gameland, but now I'm a little scared just gonna like raffle stomp everyone.
I don't know, man. We actually have some pretty good players coming out for that.
Zest returns to form. It'll be glorious.
Well, I guess we're going to have a commercial break coming as we have to get ready for the last best of 3 today. It's a short and sweet cast. It's really short and sweet cast. But, yeah, Laser versus Gumiho is the last matchup today.
Yes. So back to NA, and it'll be another TVZ. See you guys in the lobbies ready to go.